Hey,
Mike,
what time did you guys get off the water?
probably 3:15.
It's tough fishing today.
Yeah, especially in the morning. I got out there at 7, but from like 7 to 10, we couldn't see anything. So we pretty much just kind of stayed around Smith Springs. But Errol was able to find a few in the morning time. Throwing that Texas rig swim bait. I started off with a buzz bait. I figured a low visibility, and wanted something to make some noise. It was still early in the morning, so I threw that buzz bait around a little bit. Didn't get any bites, and threw a
Yeah,
little
but you
swim
couldn't
bait
cover
going
much
up.
water if you couldn't go out of the area that you're in. I ran around the lake today.
Yeah,
I burned probably at least a quarter tank of gas today.
yeah. You want to look at that on the map real quick, so to let some guys here know where some of the different points you hit.
Sure,
Just to kind of.
sure. And the water was down dramatically today versus last Sunday. They dropped it another probably 3 feet.
Yeah,
So I think between the bluebird skies and the moving it down even further to winter pool, I think really affected the fishing today.
yeah.
A lot of the spots that you and I fished last week were above water now. Remember those reeds that we were in, that one cut where we caught two fairly quickly, kind of back to back,
Yeah,
when I was up front on the trolling boat on your boat that day?
yeah.
I went to that area today, and the reeds were 3 foot out of the water today.
Oh wow, yeah. I didn't go there, so I was saving that spot for you. I wanted to be some fresh water. I
Is
figured
that what
you.
it was? You were saving it for me, huh?
Yeah, I
Well,
figured
they
you
let a
needed
lot
all
of
the help
water
you
out.
get.
The spot wasn't any good.
Oh man. But I don't know if you can see the map clearly here, like you
Yeah.
can last time. But here's where we launched from Elm Hill Marina. We had lunch there earlier, and you might want to tell the folks if there's anybody watching this that Elm Hill Marina is private, right? But the website says it's public.
Yeah, that's a good point. So I was planning on putting in at the Elm Hill Marina. Their website says that there's a public launch there, but as soon as you start coming down the road, there are numerous signs that say this is not a public launch. U-turn area ahead. So instead of turning left on the road, I don't remember the name of that road going in. You go about another 100 feet, or I'm sorry, 1,000 feet, and there's another road entrance into um, if I could remember the area.
I'm sure they can find it, right? You just
Yeah, it
Google.
was right by. It was literally right by. You just pass the entrance to Elm Hill, and the next left you turn left on. It started with an S. I can't remember the name of it, but it was a very good launch, double wide launch, plenty of parking. It was, I think, $8 to launch there. You put your credit card in or debit card or whatever, and the gate goes up, and then on your way out, the gate just comes up. So good place to launch the boat. So yes, that's where Joe and I put in it.
Yeah, so it's just over here by Elm Hill Marina. We had lunch at Shipwrecks Cove and had some good food and good service there, as usual. And so I don't know if you remember, but you came out of there, and the dam I think is up towards this way. Did you go
I
towards the
didn't go to the
dam?
dam.
Oh, you didn't go to the dam? No.
I went to the island. Okay, so you see the island to the left
This
coming
one?
out of the bay where the marina's at.
Yeah, this one right here maybe. Let me go back to this one here. I might be able to zoom around. So there's the dam.
Right, that island. So
Yeah.
I went around to the shady side of the island, and we threw on that. I threw a underspin swim bait, a jerk bait. Joe was throwing. I don't even remember what the heck he
Probably some kind of
throwing.
moving
Oh,
bait.
spinner bait that the spinner bait.
Yeah.
Okay, double willow white and red spinner bait. We worked that area for about 20-25 minutes. Didn't get a sniff. Then we went down. So yeah, it's kind of hard for me to point at the map. So going down. So down, yeah, right to the left. These cuts in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that now go down a little further. Right there, right? Those cuts,
Yeah.
that whole area we fished in there. Those cuts, that cut, I mean,
Covered some
nothing.
water.
Nada. With them dropping the lake is down it probably 3 feet more than it was down last Sunday. I mean, and it took away a lot of the kind of water that you and I were fishing last Sunday. So then we went back all the way to the back of this big bay. So going south. There you go. Yeah. We went back in there. That's really, really low now. There's a flat there now. It's maybe 3 feet deep. So the cut to the left, we fished that and nothing. And then we went across and we fished a cut to I guess that would be to the east, and nothing. And then we went back up to the campgrounds. So that bluff wall.
Yeah. So just real quick, just for some of the local folks, this is what we call Hamilton Creek. And so there's a boat ramp right in here. It sounds like you fished at the Hamilton Creek area.
Yes.
And then you said you went to like a little campground here?
No, we went, the campground up by the marina.
Gotcha.
So Elm Hill Marina, that campground, so that peninsula right there.
Yeah.
So we fished at the tip of that peninsula, and we fished that entire wall, bluff wall, and nothing. I mean, but by that time I had put down my chase baits, so reaction baits, and I went to a Texas rig lizard.
Of course. Slowed her down.
And I actually fished a lizard back in those other areas, tried that too, and there was, not even a sniff. I think a couple little hits, bluegills or something, but nothing. It was nothing happened. It was a very difficult day on the lake again, on the lake. So the map's down.
So that's a good thing for the viewers, right? If they're watching, it's fairly recent. What is it, like November 6th, 2021? I think the time changed tonight, right, or something like that, and the lake's down. Water temperature was probably around 59, 60 degrees. I think that's what it was when
64.
64. And
some areas were 62. Most of what I saw was 64.
Gotcha.
So okay. So now what did you and Arrow do? Now I'll fill you in on where we went next, and where we actually caught our fish.
Yeah. Do go back to the screen share here. I think I'm sharing. We again, we launched from Smith Springs, which is down here south. For the good part of the morning, we just stayed in this Smith Springs area, just because we couldn't see. And I think we trickled back over here. That spot that I took you, basically just ran that same pattern that we did last time. And then again, we started around 7. Arrow was throwing some moving baits. We also had some small crankbaits, flat-sided crankbaits. He was throwing those, didn't have any luck, and then started getting some on that Texas rigged swim bait, little 3-inch Kitech. But yeah, we pretty much just kind of fished Smith Springs by this YMCA area, just our normal spots. And then when it cleared up, we started heading towards M Hill, which is around like 10:30 or so. So we just headed back towards like the M Hill area, and maybe fished another spot or two before we met up for lunch around, I guess it was around 11:30, 11:45 then.
Right.
And so again, that's super convenient, right? With the again, like with the wife, Melinda can come over and have lunch with us while we fish, or after, while we take a break from fishing, and then afterwards we can just part ways and we go fishing for a few hours and kind of go from there. So I really like that setup. I feel like it's super convenient.
Nice.
So that's it. I think the rest of the afternoon, let me go back to my screen share. I feel like I'm going back and forth, but we headed east on the lake and tried to fish a little cut. Where did we go? So this is the area that we went. We went towards 7 Points area. I don't know if you can see that on a map. So there's 7 Points. And then we fished these little 3 pockets within 7 points.
Move your cursor around. I can't. I'm not sure where it's.
Yeah, let me see here. Let me go back to this guy. Maybe this screen will help.
There you go. Okay,
yeah.
I got it.
Yeah, so there's 7 points there. So this is just south of where Evan Evers mentioned.
Okay.
This is Bird Island. So
Yep.
we've fished this area before just because we've seen a lot of bait before in this little cut. And so we went there. That's when I think Arrow caught like 2 fish in this area, and that's when I called you.
Any size to them?
I'll do the B-roll on top of this video. I mean, they're okay. Still not long enough to weigh in, I don't think, but
okay.
And then there's this little point here within that cove. I fished it, and then I headed up towards this area. You can see within there's 7 Points campground. There was a creek channel that was running in this area, so I fished it. Then I didn't have any luck over there. and saw another creek channel go in this cut. Fished in there and didn't have any luck. And then I want to say
What were you throwing?
came out in this little point. In the afternoon, it was similar to last week. I just was throwing a Texas rig speed crawl and a little micro jig with a crawfish trailer behind it. And then for my reaction strikes, I was throwing a little Ned bomb, like by missile baits, like a 1/4 ounce weight, and also threw a Kevin Van Dam, 1.5 square bill. That last hour, I was, even though it was like bright blue skies, I knew I had to cover some water, so I put that 1.5 square bill on and was just running down those coves and points and, trying to bounce that 1.5 off rocks and whatnot. And I just wasn't able to get one in the afternoon, after lunch at least.
So I'll tell you what we did. So after we went and ran that bluff wall,
Yeah.
not even a sniff. So I said, this is
We fished some bluff walls too. I fished some bluff walls where it had the river channel swing on it, and on that one I was trying to do a drop shot with a little missile bait Ned bomb.
Were you marking anything on the live scope?
Yeah, I mean, we saw bait. I think I saw bait on those cliff walls, but maybe that's what it was too. Like, I think we talked a little bit about this yesterday. If there's too much bait, then they have a bunch of choices,
Right. So after doing the bluff wall, I said, we got to change something up here. So we ran up to the dam.
Yeah.
And fished the riprap on the left side of the dam.
I thought I saw some rocks there.
Well, it's all riprap.
Yeah.
Okay. The whole face of the dam. So we got on that, and it goes from, from 0 down to about 12 feet.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, all along that riprap, all the way over to that recreation area where I guess there's a kind of a beach area or something.
Yeah.
We worked that whole wall, that whole riprap one time, and I was throwing a Texas rig lizard. Joe was throwing a spinner bait. Joe then also tied on a Texas rig and started getting a few taps. So I turned around and went back, and on my way back, about halfway back, I caught a largemouth bass.
Nice.
I sent you a picture of it. It wasn't big. It was probably, I don't know if I had to guess, it was probably 12 inches maybe.
On a good day.
But, it got the skunk out of the front of the boat.
Yeah.
So we worked that for a while, and that wasn't happening. And so it was getting to probably close to 4 o'clock. So we went over to the shoreline where I think there's a recreation area. We went past that, and there's an area with a fence that goes into the water.
Yeah, I seen that.
Yeah, and we fished that area, and we were getting some hits. And then Joe tied on a little missile. This bait that he was throwing is older than me. It was an antique.
Gosh, that's pretty old.
It had a propeller in front, a propeller in the back, and I don't know, it was probably this long, just a tube and tapered at both ends. And I was watching him, because I was at the front of the boat, and I was working, and I'm watching him throw this thing out there. And all of a sudden, there was a boil up on it, and he jerked it, and he says, all right, come back for another shot. And sure enough, this smallmouth came up and just nailed it. And so that was the picture I sent you of that smallmouth. That smallmouth was probably, I don't know, maybe 15 inches. It was a decent fish.
Yeah, and what's so awesome is that he's using that bait caster that I let him borrow.
Yes,
able to catch something.
Yes, and throwing that really light bait, which he was getting a lot of bird nests with it, but he was making it work. So I
think that mono that's on there is like 12 pounds, so it should be easy to work out.
Yeah, so he that's what he caught his on it. So it was getting close. It was probably 4:30, 4:45. So the sun was getting low. It was behind the trees because we were over on the east side of the lake, and he caught that one. So I had one in the boat. He had one in the boat. It was starting to get later. I said, come on, it's starting to cool off. Let's run back to where we put the boat in, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to call it a day. Well, then we got over there. When I got there, the sun was actually higher than I thought it was because we were out of the trees.
Yeah.
I said, look, we got 35 minutes of daylight left. Daylight's burning, pal. We're gonna fish this. So sure enough, we started working that area around that boat launch, and I went past it one time and had a couple hits. and I set the hook on one and had one on, and I didn't get a good hook set, and I missed it. So we turned around and we were heading. So I was probably 15 yards from the boat ramp, and I threw out, and I was probably 20 feet from the boat, and this smallmouth hit this thing, and I'm telling you, it wasn't a tap tap.
Yeah.
It was a wham.
And you knew.
She hit that thing like a freaking freight train, and I set the hook, and dude, it was on.
Yeah.
That fish was probably one of the hardest fought smallmouth I've caught in a long time.
Nice.
She came out of the water one time. I mean, back into the water, taking drag under the boat, out from under the boat. I'm yelling, Joe, get the net. There's no way to get this fish in. And he grabbed the net, and I'm telling you, this fish gave one heck of a fight. She was a beaut. So after fighting her for a while, we finally got her in the net, got her in the boat. Gorgeous smallmouth. I weighed her. Well, you saw I put her next to the tape. She was right at 18 inches and had a nice fat belly on her. I weighed her. She was 3.2 pounds. So very pretty, very healthy, nice fish. And as soon as I got her in the net and took the pressure off that hook, it fell right out of her mouth.
Oh,
so
man.
If she had jumped one more time, I'd have lost it, and I really would have been irritated. So and I called you when I was on the phone with you, and it was just getting dark, and I said, that's it. We're gonna go ahead. I was gonna go ahead and fish for a little while longer to see if I could get one more. And I said, no, we're gonna call it a night and pull the boat out of the water.
No, I think it was a good first challenge, especially for something that I thought of like Friday morning. Got a few other guys to chime in. That guy that we saw at lunch, Gordon, he was actually able to catch 6 after lunch, and so I'll add a few pictures of the fish that he caught here at the end. But yeah, man, he was able to find a few, and sounds like he's interested in fishing some more challenges with us in the future if we want to continue with these things. And I just had another guy from from YouTube mention he watched our video last night and thinking about coming out to do Percy Priest one time. He fishes Old Hickory a lot. And so maybe we can go up. I'll go up in your backyard, and we'll do Old Hickory and see if we can get some other
10 minutes
folks
from
up
the
there.
house. So we had a good day. It could have been, honestly, I think the conditions today were so different from when we fished it last week. We had clouds last week. The water was probably 3 feet higher last week. The areas that we fished last week weren't anything like they were last week today. Not even close. So what I decided today to do was to decide to look for deeper water.
Yeah.
And fish deeper water, and they just weren't chasing anything. I mean, you were throwing some. So I threw a square bill by the dam. I threw a whopper popper by the dam. I threw a jerkbait by the dam. I threw a swim bait by the dam, and the only fish I caught over there was on a Texas rig.
Yeah, and they were sitting down.
They weren't in a chasing mood.
Yeah.
Good. Well, it was a good time. I'm glad we did it, and
yeah, man.
We could share it with our friends on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's great.
You need to tell them to try to do the next one. Encourage some of these guys to come out and just chime in. Like it's free. What's great is like you can launch wherever you want to, start whenever you want to, and finish whenever you want to.
It's an honor system, I mean, honor amongst thieves, I guess. So, but I was taking pictures of anything we caught today. I was taking a picture.
Yeah.
So,
no, it's all.
I was teasing Joe. I told Joe, I said, I'm gonna have to call Arrow and tell him that whatever fish he caught, they didn't count because I didn't see a picture of it.
And then we have to do like a video of the date, maybe carry around a newspaper. Like it's November 10th.
Right. Hey, dude, I even took a measurement on this. I took a measurement and I weighed her because that was one of those fish where you have to say, all right, I really got to know how big this fish is. I mean, she put a hell of a fight on. That was one of my top rated smallmouth I've caught. I caught one probably about 10 years ago on Kentucky Lake around this time of the year off some riprap. I was fishing with my father. I caught a 6.5 pounder.
Yeah.
So those big smallmouth are fun to catch.
Yeah, maybe we can find some in Del Hollow before the year ends. So.
I think we need to do that. That and on the Cumberland River.
Yeah, so many places to fish. Cumberland River. We still need to hit Kentucky Lake.
Dude, I know some great places on Kentucky Lake. I've been fishing Kentucky Lake my entire life,
Yeah.
since I was a kid. So I know some good places. Although Kentucky Lake is going to be wintertime's tough out there because it gets a little colder. It's 100 miles north of here, and I fish the north end of the lake. So so come spring, we'll get out to Kentucky Lake and hit while we're up there as well. But then I got to figure out this lake I've got down the street from me, Old Slickery. I don't know, that place it gives me ulcers.
I'm sure I'm sure it gives other people ulcers.
Yeah. I mean, Flipper has said it's the hardest lake he's ever fished, and I would have to agree with him. I've fished a lot of bodies of water, and Old Hickory is it just changes so much. I've caught some nice fish out there. I mean, I've caught a few hogs out there, but boy, they're few and far between. And even finding some dinks out there is hard at times. It's just a tough lake to fish. It changes constantly, and I've the only thing I haven't done is I haven't fished up towards the top of the lake. Because there's just so much traffic up there towards Drake's Creek and those areas. I've fished everything from, I guess, Station Camp Creek all the way up past Bledsoe Creek, and then a lot of the bays and things. But I haven't gone up all the way up to Hendersonville area and Goodlettsville up in that area yet. One of these days, maybe this spring, I'll get up there and give it a shot.
Hey, won't we go ask some of these people that maybe we'll get one or two people that's watching this video that's fished Old Hickory and they can give us some tips.
Yeah, about it.
But before this video gets too long, let's go ahead and try to wrap it up. But before we wrap it up, let's go ahead and give a shout out for Flippers, because I'll let you kind of explain it. But I think he's going out of business, has some sales going on. He's a good dude, so I want you to mention it before we close
so
out.
So if any of you know Flippers Bait Shop in Bull Creek in Gallatin, I don't know I guess it's Gallatin there, or maybe be Lebanon, but it's on this side of the bridge. So I guess it's still Gallatin. So Bull Creek, most of you guys know Flippers. A lot of tournaments go out there. I've only lived here for 3 years, and as soon as I met Flipper, I knew he was a legend in the area, and got talking to one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. Great tackle shop. I shop there all the time. Frankly, I'd rather shop there than Bass Pro. His selection, even during this crazy COVID time and having a hard time getting inventory, the guy's been able to keep some pretty good inventory in there. So he is going out of business. He's retiring. We all hate to see him go. He's been there for 41 years. So he is definitely a pillar of the community here. We hate to see him go. Right now he's running 20% off.
So my only complaint about this whole
and he's running 20% off right now. And then I think he's going to go to 30 and then 40. And then what he doesn't sell, he's going to donate to some of the high schools out here for their high school fishing teams.
Yeah, I think I'm sharing my screen here. This is it right here. Here's the address. That's what the store looks like.
Yeah. So if anybody, if you're looking for some tackle, I mean, he's got everything from hard baits, soft baits, terminal tackle. I just bought a really nice rod. I needed another bait casting rod, so I bought another rod from him, and 20% off of his regular price is pretty good. Most of his reels have been sold already. I think he pretty much went through that inventory, but great guy. Hate to see him go.
Yeah, same here.
By the way, all you guys on YouTube, if you like the content, please give it a like and subscribe. Right? Isn't that what we're supposed to say?
Yeah, I think that's what all the big YouTubers say. And so yeah, maybe we'll get some traction. We'll do some more of these and see where this goes.
Very cool. All right, Johnny. Great day today, buddy.
All right, you too, man. We'll talk to you.
Talk to you soon.
See you.